Ancient carvings and thick jungle. This is what one would find in this land. Within-like creatures and a culture which some might pass by. But today we'll be taking a journey through the lands found in the Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning. A place known as Tall Plains. Our adventure begins just as Spyro lands, and before us lies the gates of stone. Flutters hang above green leaves, unaware of an ape which lies before a stone tunnel. Beyond are trees encompassing the sky, vines hang between them. Fences line the cliff faces, blocks with carved faces litter the grass, an indication of a species lying somewhere in this land. Indeed, there is a tribe here, one which Ignitus, the guardian of the fire element, calls the Atlawa. We'll see them as we travel deeper into the jungle. Upon Spyro's approach, we can get a closer look at the apes themselves. They are a bright red, a vast difference from their counterparts in Dante's Freezer and the Swamp. Others, like their commanders, wield weapons and adorn armor, which bear the motif of birds, which are unlike anything we see in Tall Plains. Forward we press, until we see one such commander, carved stone. Smashing his horns into the smaller blocks, Spyro activates one of these mechanisms, pushing a column of carvings up, just what the dragon needs to continue. Other more mischievous devices lurk in the shadows. Pressure plates loaded with darts and spikes made out of bamboo are left scattered among the foliage, much like abandoned pots seen throughout Tall Plains. But that is not enough to stop Spyro, or our venture through the jungle. Past more of Cinder's apes, one even mounting a turret of sorts, we eventually find the formerly mentioned members of the Atlawa tribe. One is taken away by yet another subspecies of Dreadwing, a returning creature from other parts of the world. Cain, who we learn is the chief of this tribe, is freed, though does not share with Spyro any semblance of appreciation. The adventure then continues. Though not appreciative of Spyro's presence, like that of Cain, we find more natives to Tall Plains. What is called a grubble can be seen here, and in other locations throughout the jungle. These are smaller creatures, seeming to live in groups, burrowing into the ground at the sight of anything unfamiliar, or perhaps dangerous in their mind. Unbothered, one can see them simply skitter across the ground, as opposed to other, harder to spot critters of the jungle. The skifter is referenced to be like a sugar glider, small with perhaps overly sized eyes. They catch the wind under their sails of orange, unseen or unnoticed by the creatures which skulk below. But not all creatures of the forest are so passive. There lie, perhaps native creatures to Tall Plains, armadillos, which block the path of the purple dragon, scattered throughout the tight pathways of this land. They carry an armored shell. Their eyes glow green with perhaps some sort of energy. But they do wiggle, sometimes, so that's pretty neat. Beyond them, faceless creatures stand to guard bridges of bamboo, hanging high in the sky. They share a resemblance, and in fact are, according to some findings, quite similar to those rebel brutes found in the Falmouth arena. Some say they have some relation to a god of the Atlawa, though nothing has truly been confirmed for them. The most one can confirm of them is that they simply roam Tall Plains, beings of plant and stone left abandoned in the green, and like their name suggests, the stone seems carved, sharing the carvings of the pots, perhaps indicating that they were once part of some greater whole. Perhaps the stone was carved by the Atlawa before being used by these brutes. Beyond we find fair fields of wheat, riddled with the same mechanical stones, and a river flowing to water wheels of great size. And beneath them, we find another creature of Tall Plains, Mudguts. While their artistic depiction shows a rather, muddier appearance, it seems the ones Spyro finds are white, and quite active, with them jumping in and out of the water. The color itself seems more or less that of what would have been their underbelly, and that of all manner of critter in tall plains, which apparently has now gone throughout their entire body. But it's most likely not them that one would notice in the fields. Instead, one might spot the ominously named scare totems. These towering beams swing violently upon pressing the stones, summoning armadillos to Spyro, perhaps attracted by the sound. They do seem to have something to do with the water wheels, at least in the same way that they are activated by the same stones that activate the scare totems. Why exactly this would work in this way does not seem clear to me, but perhaps there's some explanation for this. After saving Cain from plummeting off the edge of tall plains and seeing an artistic recreation of the event, we see one more sign of the Atlawa's mechanical ingenuity. Through makeshift defenses of the apes, such as barriers and pits, large swinging logs, and bamboo spikes, we find such a place. Balls, etched with the same markings as the stone faces, lie between Spyro and his path forward, and with 4 placed in slots of the same material, the dragon finds himself surprisingly riding a gondola. Its origin, like some other objects within tall plains, is not entirely known, though it appears more like a ship. It's not that of a simple gondola with rails, as one might expect. Instead, it glides through the air. Perhaps it was made by the Atlawa, perhaps it was made by someone else. We never know. In any case, it leads to, eventually, the place Spyro was headed, where the guardian of the ice element, Cyril, was being kept, and to the god of the Atlawa, the stone sentinel. It stands in the path of the purple dragon. Cain explains that it's angry, having not been given tribute because of Cinder's forces, leaving one path forward for the purple dragon. But before Spyro defeats it, I have some questions to ask. Who built it? Was it built? Well, it does use the earth element to quite literally punch Spyro. Perhaps in a way the element in tall plains was so strong that it simply just created it. Perhaps that is the origin of the rebel brutes. It suggested that there is some connection to tall plains, with Terrador, the Earth Guardian, making a stand in the jungle. Though again, nothing has truly been stated to confirm this or any other origin. But earth element involved or not, Spyro defeats the god of the Atlawa. And for a moment, Spyro and his brother, Sparks, are thanked for defeating the previous god. It is what it is. In any case, it is now that we leave Tall Plains, this ancient place, and the creatures, the plants, and the people that all live in this distant place from the Dragon Temple. Thank you for watching if you got to this point in the video. I wanted to revisit this sort of video just to take a break from any of the real big topics, just to settle down for a bit before the next video, and hopefully this, again, seemed like an interesting video to watch. I know that they've been somewhat popular, which surprised me. I guess I just find it interesting to share the little details Chrome added to their game. So I did also mean for this to come out in October, but some complications and scheduling issues came up, so it is being posted publicly in November. For Patreon supporters, the early access ones anyway, they actually got it in October, hopefully. A link for that is in the description if you're interested in getting the $5 one for early access. I usually have that in my Discord or on Patreon itself. Though I've been thinking about making YouTube memberships just so it's easier for people and they don't have to go to Patreon to go ahead and get that. In any case, it's the blue gem roll, though obviously that's not required to watch anything, just sort of a way to see what's coming early and also a way to pay for my editing software. That's about it. In any case, I'm sorry this came out a little late. Hopefully expect the video by the end of the month, if nothing big comes up anyway. With that said, again, thank you for watching, and I'll roll the Patreon credits. A big thank you to my Patreons, Abyssal Blue, ConquerFan91, Eric Manuel, Jabby, Kiyasu Shin, Lozzie, Nightmare Spyro, and Shaggy. I'll see you all the next time we talk. Stay safe, historians.